Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel today. My name is Christian and today we're here to talk about the new record from Sleepmakeswaves. It is titled Made of Breath Only. Now this is an Australian progressive rock band from Sydney, Australia, and this is their fourth record. And they're a band that have been making waves in the Australian progressive rock scene for quite a while now. I mean, my old band a couple of bands ago headlined a very small venue a little while back, and they're actually headlining the next night, so they've been around for a little while now. But honestly, going into this record, I hadn't really checked them out. I'd never gotten around to it, and I had no idea that they were an instrumental prog band. Now, this is a good record. It's nothing mind-blowing, but there are some really special moments on there, and some moments that show that this band could really go somewhere big for an instrumental band. I mean, instrumental bands don't really get massive, but these guys have the capability that they could go pretty far. But there are quite a few moments on this record that feel like there's something missing. So let's get into it. This record opens up with Our Days Were Polar and Worlds Away, and these are two tracks that really get you strapped in for what this whole record is going to be. They both have basically all of the elements that you're going to hear in this record as it plays through, and they incorporate it well into those two songs. Our Days Were Polar is a really good opener to the record. It's a more eerie, atmospheric type opening for the record that really blends well into Worlds Away once Worlds Away starts to come in, and is the perfect way to set the mood for this record. But it's in Worlds Away that unfortunately we hear the first problem with this record, and that's in the production. For this type of music, especially when it's instrumental, you want it to sound real and you want it to sound live, but you want it to be, you want there to be a lot of clarity in there so that you can hear just the intricate parts that the band are playing. But unfortunately, a lot of the intricate moments in these songs aren't as clear as they should be, especially in the drumming. There's a lot of just drumming sections, even in the introduction of Worlds Away, where it starts to sound a bit muddy and you don't really hear what they're playing that well. And again, as I said, I know they're going for this raw sound, but for this style of music especially, and when you don't have vocals to be in the front and center, you need everything to be clear and you need to be able to hear what you're doing. Having said that, as much as I don't like the production a lot of the time in this record, I really love that this just feels like a band playing together in a room. If you've watched any of my reviews before, that's my favorite part of any production style, is if it sounds live, and this record definitely achieves that. And I love that there are imperfections throughout this record. There are moments where not everyone comes in exactly dead on the beat. They kind of are a little disjointed, and I like that. I like that it sounds like it's human, and the human element of a record is something that is washed away a lot of the time nowadays, and to hear a band go back to that is a good thing. One thing I really love about this record is the electronic elements. A lot of them are used more atmospherically and more just to set a scene for what the record wants to give you, rather than it being a lead part. Songs like Tundra open up with these really cool atmospheric synth sounds, while other songs like The Edge of Everything use the synth more as a lead guitar part to really enhance what the band are playing. Made of Breath Only, the title track to this record, also incorporates some synth elements in there that do something that is really difficult to do, and it just emits this emotion that when it's combined with the piano parts in that song, and it's something that not a lot of people can pull off, and this band have done it. There's also some great bass playing all the way throughout this record, and that's not only highlighted by just the bass player's incredible skill for each instrument, but also in the bass tone that they managed to achieve on this record. And you really get to hear him at his best on songs like Too Light and Then Return, and also on Midnight Sun. And the bass really cuts through in the mix really well on this record. A lot of the time in modern records of any genre, the bass is kind of pulled back in the mix so far that it just kind of becomes another frequency in the sonics of a record, whereas on this record, they really want to highlight it and make sure that you can hear just how good this bass player is. There are also some great moments for the guitars on this record, but I will emphasize the word some. When the guitars are allowed to open up and just play, they sound great. There are some awesome riffing moments in songs like The Edge of Everything and Hailstones, which really show off the guitar player's skills. With that being said though, there are a lot of moments on this record, in fact the majority of this record, where the guitars are kind of fine sitting back waiting for something else to drive the song. A lot of the lead guitar parts don't add enough melodic drive to the songs to allow them to really stand out, and also the lead guitar tone that is all the way throughout this record on certain songs is just, it clashes a lot. It just really sounds out of place, and it kind of sounds like the reverb used on the guitar and the distortion used on the guitar are just clashing in a bad way. What I'm really trying to say is that there is a glaring thing missing to this record that I hinted to at the beginning of this review, and that's just, there's a lack of a driving force in this record, and I can't help but think that vocals would really improve this band. You can just listen to songs like To Light and Then Return, Tundra, and Midnight Sun, and you can't listen to those songs and not feel like there's something missing, that a vocal melody going over those instrumentals would just sound so great. Because honestly, in those songs particularly, the instrumentals just isn't doing anything to keep me engaged. If you listen to other instrumental artists, like Pliny as an example, who is also from Australia, he uses his lead guitar parts, or just whatever instrument he chooses to drive the song along, as a vocal line. That doesn't mean it has to be basic, because it's absolutely not basic in Pliny's music, but he uses something within the song to be the focal point, and Sleepmakeswaves just don't do that on this record. And because the instrumental is so basic at times on this record, it just starts to sound empty. There are moments throughout this record that I really love, and they generally seem to be the softer moments on this record. You listen to a song like Made of Breath Only, which is basically a piano ballad with some synth elements going on around it, and it is so simply written but has this emotional core to it that really just pulls something out of you and brings you into the song. It's just beautifully written, and it's so difficult to pull off that emotional feel when you don't have a vocalist in the band, but on that song they just managed to do it. And I love that they used piano as the driving force to that track as well. It's something that brought something new into the record and was just something fresh, and you know, they used that on another track as well called Into the Arms of Ghosts, and even on that song they still have those elements that we've heard throughout this record so far, but they add the piano in there as well. And on those two tracks specifically, they do something different and they add some variation to the record and they pull it off. It's just, the piano element is something that I wish they'd experimented with more on this record. To get into some more of the negatives in this record, a lot of it has to come down to just the basic songwriting that this band have shown off on this record, particularly in the structuring. In Worlds Away, you basically hear a blueprint for what the song structures are going to be throughout this entire record, and for the most part, every other song after Worlds Away just follows that same formula. From where I'm sitting here, I can't help but feel like this record would have benefited from having a consistent theme throughout the entire record, treating the entire record like they treat each individual song. Have the record have a beginning, a middle, and an end with certain songs depicting certain moments, rather than having individual songs which follow the exact same structure every time. I also do think that this record is a little too long. There are a lot of moments on this record that could have been cut out that don't really help to progress the record. There are certain songs like the track Worlds Away that really benefit from the long length and really take you on this journey, but there's other songs like The Edge of Everything and Midnight Sun which just overstay their welcome, and there are sections within those songs that just could not be there. Even songs like Glacial, which just seem unnecessary because they're basically just an alternate ending to the song before, which was Midnight Sun. Even songs like Hailstones, which closes out this record, is just basically the same riff played over and over and over again, but just with different dynamics. Overall, this is a really enjoyable record. If you're a progressive music fan, you can do a lot worse than this. There are some songwriting flaws. The production doesn't work all the time, but when this record gets it right, which it does in moments, it gets it really right. My top 3 tracks are going to be Made of Breath Only, Worlds Away, and The Edge of Everything, and I'm going to give this record a 3 out of 5. Anyway, what did you guys think about the record? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Did you like the record? Did you not like the record? Let me know down below. We're here to have a conversation about music, so let's do that. But if you're just going to fill up the comment section with hate and insults, just know I'm going to read your comments and laugh at how pathetic your life is. Anyway, thanks for watching my video today, guys. Please hit subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Fresh Currents.